Hey, what's up guys, Ben here, welcome back to another video on my channel, FilmFanatic, and today I am going to be reviewing Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Starring Emma Watson, this is a retelling of the classic Beauty and the Beast. So since Beauty and the Beast is a classic, I don't really feel like I need to tell you the plot lines, but I will tell you a few subtle things they changed. For example, something that's been getting a lot of talk recently is the fact that they made the character LeFou, played by Josh Gad, very well in fact, a homosexual character. They made him a gay character, and I don't see the problem in that. I mean, why not? It didn't change the story, it didn't change anything about it, it just happened that one of the characters was gay. And that's been getting a lot of talk recently, people saying they don't like it, they don't want it. Well, why? So let's start with the characters. Emma Watson cast as Belle. I was actually quite happy when it first released. I thought she's a good actress. I've never heard her sing, but she has the look of Belle, she has the kind of charisma of Belle. Let's see what she does. And that was good. She was a good actress. She played the part well. However, the thing that let her down was the voice. If you're playing a live action Disney princess, it's all well and good to have the look and the style, but you need to have the voice to go with it, and unfortunately Emma Watson doesn't. Now, I'm not saying she's a bad singer whatsoever, she isn't, and I know they altered the song slightly to help fit her natural singing voice, but for some reason it just didn't work. It didn't quite play off as well. It didn't really look natural. And that was a problem that bothered me throughout the film. Once again, that's not digging on her as an actress. I thought acting wise, I didn't see any problem with it, but it was just when it came to the songs, it let her down a little. Josh Gad as LeFou was brilliant, as he usually is. Very, very funny, brought you the humour when you needed it. Now in the original, LeFou's not a big part at all. He doesn't really have any purpose, I want to say, other than being Gaston's right hand man, and this, it's a similar thing. However, Josh Gad played it so much so that when he was in a scene, you really liked watching him, because Josh Gad's a very clever actor. He's very, very funny, and he does very clever things. Just little glances that just add humour to the role. And for example, there was a moment where they were riding down the street on their horses. Three of the girls were gawking over Gaston, as they do, and LeFou just shot them a look of, he's mine. Because obviously he's a homosexual character, and it was very funny. He brought so much humour to it that for the live action they picked the perfect casting for LeFou. Luke Evans, who played Gaston, was also brilliant. He also stole the show. Gaston's meant to be a bit of a hack. He's meant to be someone you're meant to dislike. Obviously he's the villain. However, when you first meet him, and the classic as well, you laugh at him, not with him or anything like that. You laugh at him. He's meant to be over the top. He's meant to be over the top funny, and Luke Evans did very, very well in that role. He's obviously not as big as the cartoon physically, however he did have the voice, to be fair. He played the character well, the charisma he got right. He was also a really, really good casting. Can I just say how much I loved Ewan McGregor and Sir Ian McKellen as Lumiere and Cogsworth. I think they were also fantastic castings I never expected. Sir Ian McKellen I can see for the kind of posh English clock, but for the French Candlestick, a Scottish actor, a very good Scottish actor still, but really, but he did brilliantly. Granted, for 90% of the film it's only their voice until the very end when you see them transform back. He managed to kind of bring back the charisma, the humour of the original voice of the Candlestick. I don't know who it is, but they brought that back. Even when they're doing Be Our Guest, which is one of Disney's best known songs, he did it brilliantly. He played it off really well. He's actually not a bad singer when it comes to French accents. And that gets me to the songs. They kept a lot of the classic songs, the most famous being Taylor's Oldest Time, Beauty and the Beast. And it was sang by Emma Thompson. Now, Emma Thompson, I don't know, played Mrs. Potts until the end, but she was also fantastic. And she sounded a little bit like Angela Lansbury, not gonna lie, but when they were doing that moment, it was a really good throwback to the original. I sat there and I was being kind of brought into this magic, this wonder. It is a magical moment. I'm not even gonna kiddo and I'm not gonna act tough like that. It is a magical moment, and it brought me back to that. It really, really did. I loved that. Also, Be Our Guest, they did so good at that. They didn't necessarily recreate it, you know, scene for scene or cut for cut like some people were saying they were doing. They did it their own kind of thing. They still had the flying plates, they still had 90% of the lines. They changed a few of them, took a few of them out, edited a few, sorry. But they still kept that magic alive. Now, when we first meet Belle, Emma Watson sings the opening number, and I remember as soon as she started singing, I looked at the person I was with and just kind of was like, I'm not convinced by her voice. And this was something that bothered me throughout. Her voice is alright, I just don't think it's strong enough to carry in a film. And I know you can edit voices in films, blah blah blah, but it didn't carry well enough for me. Born the Jungle Book, which is my favourite retelling they've done so far. You know, we're forgetting about Cinderella, I'm not even going to bother with Cinderella, but I really enjoyed the Jungle Book and I really enjoyed Beauty and the Beast, but Jungle Book's a little bit better for me. I think with Beauty and the Beast, I think they tried very hard to almost, not recreate shot for shot, that's not what I'm meaning, but pretty much recreate scene for scene for scene for scene for scene. Whereas with the Jungle Book, they edited a few to update it to modern times. Now, I'm not saying the Beauty and the Beast necessarily needs updated, but I think there were just moments where they were just putting scenes in just to copy the original. Yes, it was made funnier. The Beast wasn't as scary throughout the whole thing until he falls in love. He is a humorous character and it was played very well. I just think, yeah, at times it needed a little bit of editing to not just be a take-for-take remake of the original. To totally contradict what I've just said, they did add a few new songs and new scenes. The Beast had his own new song I'd never heard. It was when Belle's running back to the town to save her father after he's being put in the asylum, and he climbs to the top of the tower to watch her leave, and it's a really good song. I really enjoyed it. They added new moments to it. Stuff that I didn't notice in the original turns out was actually in. So for example, how the wardrobe in the room is actually married to the piano in the dining room, which I didn't know and is also in the original apparently. There's a lot of stuff that they done well with this, and there's a few things they need to improve on. I think obviously it's making a lot of money as expected to do. It's one of Disney's best known animations and it's been remade. I just think maybe casting with better singer for Belle would have done well. I think her acting, like I said, Emma Watson's acting was fine, but the singing needed help, and that's what I would fix out of it. So overall, I really enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. What would I give it out of 10? I'm going to go for a 7. I think that it's not as good as Jungle Book, but it is a decent retelling, and if you are a fan of the original, I would recommend going and seeing it, because it is a good film, it is a good classic retelling, and despite a few minors which I've mentioned, I can give this a quality pass. It's done well. I was very nervous, but they settled my nerves, and I think that now seeing this and now seeing the success of the Jungle Book and how they've improved since Cinderella, I think that with the future remakes, with Aladdin, Mulan, and dare I say it, The Lion King, I think they can do decent jobs at it, and I am very excited to see what comes next. But that's pretty much it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. The next video you see on my channel will be me dyeing my hair red for Red Nose Day with Jack. Now I don't know if I'm going to film it or just show you the final product, but I went to get all the stuff today for it, so I'm going to be doing that tonight after I edit this. So the next video you see will be me with red hair. So I hope you're looking forward to that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Be sure to leave in the comment section, have you seen Beauty and the Beast? What did you think of it? And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss some FilmFanatic content. I'll see you next week, guys. Take care. Bye douche.